big news this evening from Fabrizio Romano. Firstly, a deadline has been set for the end of July for Jadon Sancho. If Manchester United do not get the bid in by the end of July, which I will repeat isn't the end of the transfer window, the deal will not go ahead and he will remain at Dortmund next season. On top of that, Fabrizio has also revealed that essentially Erling Haaland joining Chelsea is down to Roman Abramovich. Haaland is open to talks, he is open to joining Chelsea Football Club this summer, and it essentially comes down to Roman Abramovich. Will he make the bid? If he makes the bid, Haaland becomes a Chelsea player. I want your views, I want your opinions. I am still in London, as you can see. My meetings overrun massively today, so it ended up being sat down. Someone here saying Fabrizio has tweeted there's a gentleman's agreement between Bayern Munich and Sancho. There is, but with any gentleman's agreement, it can be broken. It requires Man United to bid. Now, it's almost an obvious thing that Fabrizio has said as well. If Man United don't make the bid, the deal won't go through. Of course it won't. If I go into a shop and I don't pick up a pair of jeans and give my debit card over to pay for it, I don't buy the item. But the deadline is key, because Manchester United last year, they tried to call Borussia Dortmund's bluff and they got it wrong. They thought they could go beyond that deadline and they would still get the player, and it didn't work. And Chelsea fans, on Erling Haaland, it's down to Roman Abramovich. Will he put the bid in? Will he get the job done? It comes down to this. Does he want to spend £150 million on a player and pay circa £500,000 a week for the best young striker in the world, for a player that's given himself a foundation to be one of the best strikers in Europe ever? Who's this? Who's this? Who's this? Who the fuck's this?
Right, people, what's happening?
Man like Jem, what you saying, bro? You good?
Not bad, man, not bad. How you doing? How you doing, people? What you doing, viewers? All good?
But there we go. What do you make of this Haaland news now? Do you think Roman will do it? Do you think he'll spend that 150?
I don't see why not. I mean, at the end of the day, he's always been our main target. The fact that we spent 3 months in his ear, talking to his camp, trying to get him involved, tells me that we're looking, we're aggressive, we're looking to try and get him in. So I reckon it's a possibility. I don't see why we wouldn't want him when you've got a generational talent as good as him, available. I think if Chelsea are going to do this season, because we know going into next season that contract falls in half, 70 mil.
I agree. For me, there's been a lot of talk about the bid not coming. There's always been a lot of talk about, Dortmund are going to say no, they want to keep the player for next year and stuff like that. But from my point of view, £150 million being put on your table in cash, I think it changes things massively. I think it changes how Dortmund think about this situation. They're still likely to make the Champions League next year, even without Haaland, because they'll spend the percentage of that money on another striker. Maybe bring Isak back, maybe bring in Daka if Liverpool don't buy him. I think they'd be crazy to turn down double what they're going to get next year for him. But it's all on Roman now as to whether or not he thinks there's sort of better value in that.
You've got the Lukaku thing. The fact that the president's announced that they may have to look to get rid of him, not just him, Hakimi. Well, I feel like that's another avenue Chelsea might look at. Is he a cheaper option? Probably. Not as. I don't think there's a massive difference in terms of value between the two. I think in Milan we're looking at about 112 mil for Lukaku now as well. So, I would personally. He's always been my guy. I'd love to have Haaland at Chelsea. I think Chelsea fans need to not worry about the whole thing of him maybe not, flopping, not being the main guy, or having an issue in his first season at Chelsea. I think we just got to get him in. The guy will score us goals, and like I keep saying, if we do get him in, we will. Mark my words, we will win the league.
Mate, you will, and he'll break goal scoring records. If he joins Chelsea or he joins City, 30 goals. Once he hits the 30 goal mark, he'll break the season's most amount of league goals in a season in the Premier League, no doubt. Monsieur with the super chat here says $500,000 wages for Haaland. Chelsea are not going to do that. All about getting over the line for Sancho. Terry, thoughts on 20 million fine for the big six? Not enough. There was never going to be a massive fine for the big six ever, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, as much as they gave it the big in the Premier League and UEFA, They need the big six just as much as the big six need them, maybe even more in some regards. In relation to Sancho, look, I'm sure the deal is going to get done. This news about the deadline, we give the update because it's trending again. Jadon Sancho is trending again. We give the update, but essentially, it was very unlikely. Most industry experts said that it was always going to go beyond the Euros before it gets done. And on Haaland, $500,000 wages, why not? I said the other day that that's the realm we're now going into in football. And there's always a team that breaks the bank. You kids watching will not remember when Trevor Francis was the first £1 million player. Everybody said that football would implode. Everybody said that it would never happen again. Everyone said it was outrageous. Now look, £1 million is what League One and Championship teams spend on top quality players. So from my point of view, I'm not really concerned about that. I think Chelsea will look at a deal like that with the marketing level and the extra budgets, the extra money that Haaland will bring into the football club. He is worth it. Plus, he will score, when fit, in a full season, all comps, 45 to 60 goals a season every year.
And we've got a chairman that's got that money as well. People always question, why are Chelsea going to spend that kind of money? It's ludicrous. Listen, we're one of the only clubs in world football that can afford a player like Haaland right now. Us, Man City and PSG. We're fortunate enough to have a chairman that continuously keeps showing his love for our football club. So at the end of the day, if he wants to go and buy a player, don't question it. Just let him buy him. It's Haaland at the end of the day, guys. Come on. Yeah,
you're talking about what I would say is Monster as well to that. You're talking about a man who, every 18 months to 2 years, builds brand new £400 million yachts as a hobby. Exactly. People like us, well, not me, and I don't know if you do it, but normal working class people like us might make model cars or model planes or model boats. Roman does that in real life. He actually builds boats just for a laugh for £400 million. The Giggs spent £95 million the other year on a painting that I read he's put up in a room in a house that he only stays in for 2 weeks of a year. So when you're that kind of person, I don't think it's an issue. Do me a big favour, by the way, everyone who's tuning in, smash that like button for us right now. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications as well. Update on the news this afternoon from Fabrizio Romano. This is what he has said. Haaland can be a Chelsea player. He is open to talks to Chelsea. He is open to the move away from Borussia Dortmund, but it's on Roman Abramovich. Will Roman Abramovich submit the money required? He also gave an update on Jadon Sancho, echoed a lot of what Dean Jones told you all last night on the Done Deal show, that Sancho and his camp are more confident than ever of a deal being done. There is that gentleman's agreement that we all know about between Dortmund and Jadon Sancho, but there is a deadline, the end of July. Man United need to get that bid in by the end of July. And I suppose the question is, and I want to ask you on this United one, Jem, do you think Man United will take the risk again of going past that deadline with Dortmund?
They'd be stupid to, wouldn't they, really? Let's be serious. I mean, it's very clear and evident that he's the man that Man United want at the end of the day. And I just don't think Man United should muck around now. At the end of the day, I think the only thing that's holding the whole thing back at the moment, like I keep saying, is it's possibly Dortmund, not Man United. I think it might be that they're trying to look to bring someone in, which might be taking a little bit of time from themselves. So at the end of the day, I think they'll get it done. I think they will get it done, 100%.
Yeah, I hope so. Because if we don't, you probably will.
He's the next man on the list.
Yeah, absolutely. A few people in the comments saying, but art is an asset that grows in valuation. I understand that, but you're missing my point. He's a man that will invest big money in assets. He's a person that also spends a lot of money on his hobbies, which is things like collecting art, building yachts. Chelsea Football Club, to a large degree, is a hobby of his that he's passionate about, that he's not going to walk. Everybody said when Roman came in, it'll be a 5-minute flurry of him spending money, and the novelty will wear off, and then he'll leave and walk away. And we're now nearly 20 years into his reign, and he's spending more and more and more. He's richer now than he was then. That's going to continue to grow, and a lot of the work that Roman does is towards his football club. Deals are in place. That money's never going to be taken away from Chelsea, even if he's not around anymore. It is sensational. Let's go to some of these comments here. Adrian says, given Marina's negotiating record, lowering asking prices, etc., do you think the same will happen with the Haaland deal? Potentially. You've got to remember what gets quoted in the media and what the actual price of the deals are is mad. I was in a meeting today with a gentleman who was heavily involved in Luis Suarez to Barcelona.
Wow.
And he was telling me that the Luis Suarez deal, and I don't remember how much he went for, I want to say it was about, I don't remember what it was, he didn't quote what it was today. He just said that the actual deal was around 24 million pound more than what the media quoted. So we never really know. Sometimes they overquote, they overprice, and there are other times when under. You know, all the football leak videos that came out a little while ago about the book that came out revealing player wages. I know because I knew how much certain players were on. They overestimated that by about £200,000 a week. So it might be less. Look at the Hazard deal. The media said it was 100 million. Turned out you got 150. So you might end up paying more for Haaland than they say, but you could equally pay a lot less. It's so intriguing. Let's do some more of these member chats here. Saeed, who's a Chelsea fan, says, until you win 2 Champions League, pipe down City fans. Fair enough, he's having a pop at each other there. Roman has never failed in signing a player he admires. Haaland already at Cobham.
Listen, as soon as he enters that yacht, if Haaland gets on that yacht, he's coming to Chelsea. I'm not even joking when I say that. And look, the biggest thing about it all is that yes, Abramovich is still spending money, but look at the players that he's bringing in. There's a project. I believe there's an actual project going on at a football club in terms of Haaland coming in, the Hakimi talks. Yeah, these are all young, top class players. These are players that we're looking to build for the next 4 to 5 years moving forward. And yes, it's a lot of money to go and spend now. We've done it with Havertz, we've done it with the Timo Werner's in that last season. But I think in the long run, I think Chelsea are trying to build a machine that's going to go on and on for the next 4 to 5 years coming.
And absolutely, the Hakimi deal has been a little bit left field for a lot of people. It feels like it's kind of come out of nowhere a little bit in the last few days. And that 60 million euro bid went in today. And that's because what Chelsea are also doing, which is brilliant, you say that project, is you're looking to replace quality players early. So rather than letting Aspie go over the hill and then struggle to find a replacement, you're looking at a kind of Reece James, Hakimi situation where you can utilise them to cover for an ageing Aspie. Maybe even put, if you get Hakimi, maybe you put Aspie out this forthcoming season to pasture. You've still got experience at the back in Rudiger and in Thiago Silva. It might be a case of, look, we've landed Hakimi, Aspie, like there's an opportunity, there might be a part of him that's encouraged to go home to Spain and play a little football, in his twilight years. But Chelsea are a very ruthless football club, and do you know what? A few years ago, I used to be really critical of the way they let Frank Lampard and the way they let Ashley Cole leave. I felt like no respect for these legends, and then you realise that element of sentiment is what doesn't hold Chelsea Football Club back compared to Arsenal's, compared to Man United's in recent times. There was a comment I wanted to read out on here. It said, the question we all want to ask Terry is, what did Jem buy you for lunch? He did actually buy me dinner, to be fair. We had a nice ribeye steak with some broccoli, tomatoes and mushrooms, and he very kindly paid for it. So thank you very much,
So
Jem.
you've got to say Champions of Europe now, haven't you?
Yeah, champions of Europe are about to sign Haaland, but it's interesting how Fabrizio has put the ball into the court of him. And we had Dean Jones on last night that said it's going to be very, very difficult. And what he means by difficult is that lowering that price and being able to afford it. But if Roman just turns around tomorrow and says, look, there's extra £100 million I'm pumping into the club. I mean, what do you think the reaction of Chelsea fans will be if that deal gets done?
Amazing, crazy, to be able to sign a player of his potent is a big statement, not only to Chelsea but to world football. It's just to tell people that the big clubs in world football that Chelsea are back. Chelsea are here to dominate. Chelsea are here for the long run, not just in English football. I'm talking about European football as well. This is something that really excels us. We're at a level right now. We're at a decent level, but that excels us to the next level.
Yeah, Haaland in itself, Hakimi will give you levels. Haaland just... what I'm really intrigued about is how Man City respond. Yeah. How Liverpool respond, because it's that case of... It's the domino effect, because Chelsea, for me, become clear, outright favourites to win the Premier League if you sign Haaland, and City and Liverpool do not respond with a gargantuan marquee signing. So will we then see? I mean, what we've got to remember is Man City have made inquiries into Lukaku as well. So Man City have offered. It's not an official sort of sit down with representative, but they've made some preliminary inquiries. They've kind of made some noises around what they'd be willing to pay Lukaku, and there is interest from the Lukaku camp in Manchester City. But a deal like Haaland to Chelsea could trigger. Listen, we need Lukaku, or even more so. Listen, Spurs. There's 150 million pound. Give us Harry Kane, and it's the knock-on effect this deal has within the overall market. And my fervent belief is there may not be, outside of Sancho, there may not be a gargantuan signing this summer.
It's not.
Unless Chelsea make this move, and then you might see 3, 4, 5 of them. You could end up then seeing a reaction from Real Madrid that might think, we need to go and get Mbappe now, or whatever. There's loads that can happen with this. There's a few comments here saying, will Dortmund actually sell their 2 best players in one summer? Listen, selling clubs are selling clubs are selling clubs are selling clubs, and Dortmund will be able to replace Sancho and Haaland with good enough players to still make the Champions League, plus walk away with 250, 260, 270 million pounds
in their pockets.
In their pocket. It's colossal.
The other thing with Dortmund as well is whoever they bring in, it might not get them that, if they bring a striker in like Daka, for example, they might not get a Haaland level out of him, but they always manage to make these players sellable. They make them look really good. They come in and they train them well, they bring them out, and then all of a sudden they're selling them for like hundreds of millions, and it's just like...
Exactly. Do us a favour, there's 1,500 people watching. Please hit that like button right now, share this on your social media streams, and make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notifications. There's a comment here that says, talk about Sal Niguez, Grealish and Kane, and how City are going to win the quad. If you, honestly, though, City, and this is what I love about the transfer window, and this is why I talk about transfers so much. If you do sign Sal Niguez, if you do sign Harry Kane, and if you do sign Grealish, then even with Haaland at Chelsea, I then look at it and go, there's an argument to say City are now favourites again because you've improved your squad beyond them, and that's why it's Chelsea making this move. It should trigger Man City fans into shit. What are we going to do? Yeah. How are we going to respond to this in relation to that? So I think it's massive in regards to that. There's no doubt about it. There was another comment that I saw that I didn't read out. Does anyone? No. Where's it gone? I need to. Sometimes they go, here we go. No, not that one there.
It's harder from your phone, isn't it? Let me know.
It's much harder than I use StreamYard. Makes it really, really easy. This isn't. It was a comment I really wanted to read. No, that's not about your pineapple head. But it was from somebody with an emoji like that. Chelsea, no. Sometimes you see really good comments and then they disappear and then you can't find them after that. Frustrating. No, I keep seeing the one about you having a pineapple head. That isn't the one that I want. I don't know where it's gone now. I don't know where it's gone in relation to that. Big up, guys, down on the street. Is it the first time you guys have met?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. I honestly, barring Neeks and Adam, out of all the regulars on the channel, Jem's the only one I've met now, actually. It was kind of weird, actually, seeing him face to face. He's a lot shorter than I thought he'd be. He's actually as tall as me, but I thought he was a lot taller, seeing him on camera in relation to that. So that's nice. It's kind of like, obviously, we want to do a football terrace meet up soon, and hopefully going to have a few of the guys coming down to the studio tomorrow. I didn't actually have do you know what's mad today? I was so busy with working on all the new the concepts for you, because what we want to get everyone together for is we're changing some of the processes in the shows. They're going to be better. There's going to be more in them. We want to kind of coach some of the new hosts through what that's going to look like. We've got all the new graphics being made and designed, the new intros, the new stings and everything else. And yeah, it's going to be really, really exciting. I just forgot today to take pictures of the studio as we were soundproofing it because I was so mad and busy today. But it's great to meet Jem and have a bit of dinner and have a bit of a chat.
Vice versa, mate.
Terry, what's your opinion on Buendia? I think he's a really good player, but I'm not talking about the rejection anymore because it triggers people. I'm not talking about it. Why are United bidding on
Why are United bidding on Sancho again?
Why aren't they doing it? Listen, Man United are doing what every club tried to do, is get the right deal. There wasn't an expectation in the industry that a deal would be struck before the Euros. So I wouldn't. At this point, there is no need to be stressed and to be getting angry and frustrated. Industry experts didn't expect it. It is where it is. If we go beyond the Euros, we suddenly get to like the 15th, the 20th, the 25th of July, and we're not bidding for him, then maybe we start to panic. Jim, what do you think of the add-on fee for Haaland that could exceed over 400 million euros?
Well, is that true?
Well, I think.
Is that true?
I think that's the whole. I think what you're doing there, my friend, is the overall deal. So overall deal, agent fees, salary, wages, bonuses, transfer fee over a 5-6 year period could cost about £400 million.
Well, in that sense, it could be cheap. Let's be serious. If Chelsea go and win Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, other domestic cups, eventually over a 4 or 5 year period, I'm assuming in revenue they would have made a lot of it back, wouldn't they? Especially with the Haaland price tag and whatever else. So
I think with the
yes, it's a lot of money now. But what I'm saying is, in the long run, if they're winning things,
do you care if you win back-to-back Prems and back-to-back Champions Leagues? Do you care how much it costs?
Does Roman Abramovich care? That's the question. He's the one spending the money.
Is Chelsea are Chelsea going out of business?
No, exactly.
And by the way, if you do win back-to-back Champions Leagues, are you going back to the Emirates? I actually can't believe Gooners are still speaking about that.
Yes.
So who pays the agents, the player or the clubs? Depends on the deal. Invariably nowadays it's the clubs. I found out as well today, what deal was it? There was a £42 million deal. And I can't remember who the player was. Someone told me today. But Jorge Mendes got paid by the club. So the fee was paid by the purchasing club. Of the £42 million transfer fee, Jorge Mendes got 14 million quid of it. So sometimes you see higher transfer fees because of that. Paul Pogba only cost £80 million because half the fee had to go to Mino Raiola. So if Juve hadn't have signed that deal to get Pogba, Paul Pogba would have probably only cost Man United 40-50 million pounds.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's mad. Exactly. So sometimes it's just that you reap what you sow, and if you're not prepared to,
That's it. We'll go to Raiola then if we get Haaland.
So if you get Haaland, I honestly think if you spend 150 mil, I think Raiola's walking away with between 30 and 40 million pounds out in his back pocket. 110%. 110%. That's how much he's going to walk away with. It's crazy. Now it's really bugging me that I can't remember what deal that was. It was a 42 million pound deal. I'm gonna have to message the guy later. So I was chatting to an agent today that was taking us through a lot of these things. He's an agent and a journalist. He's going to be one of our new guests on the Done Deal show. We're going to try and get 2 episodes a week out on that for you moving forward. Terry Gem, don't forget we have Marina. Absolutely, we spoke about it earlier. She's going to do a good job. If Jem has pineapple on his pizza, is it classed as cannibalism?
You guys, man, you do not surprise me, I swear.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to come. Haaland not to dip his agent when he signs for us. Well, the thing is, Raiola's clever. Raiola doesn't do his deals always directly with his players. He does the deals with the club. So he does the deal with Dortmund. Dortmund can't get away without paying him because it's in the contract. It's like it's the agent gets the sell-on fee. You get this. This used to happen a lot of clubs in the Prem, where a manager. So I know that I read that Harry Redknapp had these deals where if Harry Redknapp, a player gets sold, Harry Redknapp personally gets paid like 5, 10, 15% of the transfer fee. These deals happen, and it's fans don't seem to like it, but they happen. Lincoln here says these pineapple questions are killing me. What's going on, Links? Hope you're good. Monster says, Jem, big if.
Yeah.
If Chelsea don't sign a striker, how disappointed will Chelsea fans be?
Listen, if Chelsea don't sign a striker but they sign a Hakimi or they sign a Verratti, they've still strengthened. People don't forget, yes, we do need we need a striker that's clinical, that can pull it in the back of the net, and we would have to rely on the likes of Timo Werner and Kai Havertz and the Mason Mounts to do that. But at the same time, Chelsea will sign someone. I know they will. They will. Whether it be in Haaland, potentially Lukaku. I think Lukaku could do the job, to be serious. But yeah, we'll be all right.
There we go. I'll remember the name of the player now. It was when Man City signed the centre-back Mangala. It was Mangala. It was it was around 40 to 42 million, I think that deal was, and around 14 million pounds of that went to Jorge Mendes. That was an interesting one today. Haaland is Chelsea's. Yes, Haaland is Chelsea's, and the reason that's in the title is nowhere near clickbait because Fabrizio Romano, Tier 1 transfer guru and god, said it's up to Roman. So if it's up to Roman, that means he's Chelsea's if Chelsea want him.
Yes,
so it's just play on words. If you don't like it, I don't know what to say to you. Good luck with your life. Do me a favour and hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this past at least 600 likes while we're live on the air. Make sure you're subscribing to the Terrace if you're new. We went past 193,000 subs yesterday. We're up to nearly like another 500 that we're nearly halfway to 194,000. So keep subscribing. and everything else. The real blue moon, if you want the Champions Leagues, I'll hook you up, is what BD says. Haaland should go to Real Madrid. That's from the real blue moon. I get why you want that to happen.
Yeah.
Terry, I just saw him. Who? You just see us. Come say hello.
Yeah.
Do you know, I was doing a stream once at Canary Wharf, and some guy was like, I swear I know where Terry is. He kept on saying it in the comments, and then the next minute I heard, Terry! And he come over. It was well freaky.
Spy?
We have. Is it safe? Can you imagine if safe? He goes, hello, Terry. He sticks his head around the corner. He does have a voice like a cartoon character. Like, say hello to my little friend. Breaking news: Haaland has spotted at Cobham with his agent Mina Raiola.
Is that?
No, it can't be true.
Sorry, that can't be true.
Are you a Chelsea fan, Terry? No. Do you know what it comes down? Do you know what I find really funny about doing streams? Is when I praise other clubs, they say you must be a fan of them. You're letting United down. When I criticise other clubs other than Man United, I'm called salty. Can't win.
Listen, guys, he's reporting on the news that's going on at the moment, and at the moment, Chelsea are doing a lot of business.
Exactly. I think we had a comment in here from Cam. So I see people, Cam, man like Canadian Cam in the house. Because I see people replying to him.
Come on, where's his bias?
Where's it gone? What's he say? Here he is. He says, "I'm good, Abdullah, just chilling on holiday." Yeah, you're on holiday.
Right.
Like, yesterday, he couldn't come on the stream the other day because man was on a boat.
Living his best life,
That's
man.
how much of a baller he is. He was on a boat. What I won't tell you is the boat was parked up on his front drive. He's on his lawn, right? And he's no water. He can't go for a swim. I'm only joking, bro. Where are you in Stratford? We are in Stratford, Westfield. Yes, we're outside Asper's Casino.
We're not going in there.
Yeah, just outside. Let me turn this around. Just as you can see, just outside Asper's Casino. There, that's where we are. I've moved that now, and this is going to fall. No, it just about maintained itself. David, over entitled fan. Fair enough. How much will Dortmund get off the 150 mil? I don't know. I have no idea. But the standard fee for an agent is 10%. So Raio's getting at least 15 million minimum. That's if he gets the standard going rate for agents of 10%. So let's see what happens there. Chelsea will offer Tammy as a sweetener. I think you could offer Tammy on a permanent and Hudson-Odoi on a loan, you know.
I could see the Tammy thing happening. Actually, I could see the Cho thing happening more than the Tammy, especially if Sancho goes to Dortmund.
Yeah.
Because they're going to need a winger. They're going to need someone to create, and maybe Cho needs her.
And then maybe you get a little bit off of that. Swap deals are hard, but then maybe they lower the price. Maybe they think, right, Hudson-Odoi would be a £5 million loan fee anyway, plus Tammy would cost us 25, 30 million. So maybe you pick up Haaland for, 115, 120, and you do the deals that way.
Still a lot of money.
Hudson-Odoi has potential. He should leave Chelsea, is what Marble Halls thinks.
Yes and no.
Do you see Haaland going to Chelsea? 110%. I see it being a distinct possibility. It's up, as Fabrizio said, it's up to Roman. He is essentially, and in theory, he's a Chelsea player. He's up for coming to Chelsea. He's up for talking to Chelsea. Chelsea have the money. It's whether Roman wants to bid. And if Roman decides to bid, most experts believe the deal can get done.
And apparently he's going to do that as well. So, watch your space, as they say.
Varane or Marquinhos, Jem? Who would you take?
Why would you ask me about this pace merchant, man? I know why David's doing this. He's asking me because it's that pace merchant. Marquinhos, obviously. Marquinhos is a leader. He's a better all-round defender. Varane, like I said, is just a guy that likes running around.
Are you going to support Varane if and when you sign him, though?
I'll have to, innit? A bit like Christensen, unfortunately.
There we go. A lot of people calling David a fraud. I don't really know why David gets called it. Do you think United should sign Sancho? Do you think United should sign Sancho?
Of course they should. Why wouldn't they? They need someone to play in a position that they have no one that can play there. Right wing.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, no, exactly. Do you know what I mean? If the bath water's running out, I need a plug. You know what I mean? I need it.
You do need a striker as well.
Yeah, we do. In the longer term, definitely. Do you know what I love though about this whole deal with Sancho is, it's like today, everyone's like, oh, there is a deadline. But there's nearly always a deadline for most signings, and it's the transfer deadline day. Dortmund just like to make it a little bit earlier. But honestly, I will do my nut if we don't put the bid in. If we don't put the bid in, and there's been a lot of conjecture about how much it's going to cost. I reckon about 95 million euros is going to be what the total price is now after all in being settled. So we will see. Jem looks like Marv from Home Alone. I get that actually. Lord Star, one of our members, says we don't see Sancho. We have plenty of wing forwards. Or we don't need, I think is what you meant there. Sorry, we don't need Sancho. That's obviously a Chelsea fan. It can't be any other club. Terry Flewers. That's from Samuel Ingram. I haven't seen you in ages, bro. He always writes my full name first and then the question. Man United need Glazers to sell up ASAP. Mohammed bin Salman for 4 billion. I would love Man United to be sold to someone that cares about the football club. Can't see it happening though. Let's do one final comment here. Terry, did Dean do a guesswork? Did Dean do guesswork mentioning Marco Verratti to Chelsea just because they are going to be outgoings from PSG? Or moreover, Tuchel has worked with him before? Or is it legit news? Do you know what I tell you about Dean Jones? He gets too much abuse for it. He is a very credible man, and just because you're credible doesn't mean you don't get things wrong. And when I say get things wrong, things change. So if he speaks to Tottenham today and Tottenham say, we are 110% sure that the Conte deal isn't happening, and then in 3 days' time they change their minds, that's not on Dean Jones. But when it comes to Marco Verratti, a lot of it's to do with Tuchel knowing Verratti, liking Verratti, thinking he's a very good football player and he will improve Chelsea massively. He's an absolute baller. But also Paris Saint-Germain, and he didn't name who because no one at Paris Saint-Germain has told him who. They're looking at some very interesting business from the midfield point of view that may require them to move Verratti on because they may have someone they consider to be better than him coming into that area. Could that person be Paul Pogba? I asked that question off camera and he said he just doesn't know and he doesn't like to speculate on things where he has no idea. So Dean Jones won't just say something because it gets traction. He was also said when you speak about the Sancho thing, he was like, the other day everyone's talking about the deals move forward. He was very candid in saying that's old news that people are reiterating to keep it alive in the media, and that's what we told you on the Terrace as well in relation to the sort of personal terms element. Nothing's changed in the last year. Listen, thank you all very much for your questions. Everyone who's tuned in, make sure you're smashing that like button for us. Jem, appreciate you coming on, mate.
No worries,
nice bit of dinner as well. Back later with more content for you, but I've got to shoot off home now. Long drive back to Surrey. Until next time, everyone, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you all.